and then we can take it from there. So the last thing I talked about was I was talking about market creating innovation B, and then I talked about cowbell. So when we were growing up, it was for you to get milk, then you had to, maybe please, you had to buy that big tin, right? So people started some level of innovation by going to the companies, to the factories, they'll buy a sack of milk, industrial sack. But those industrial milk didn't have the kind of nutrient you need to have. How do you guys know that? Because they were used for producing food like bread and all these other dairy products. But if you wanted the real milk that you could use to take account, you had to buy the big one. And if you bought that, it means you had plenty money. So, what market creating innovation in that case was when you now decided, let's start making small sachets that you could buy. At that time, I think they were like 20 naira. So, you didn't have to buy the big tin of about 200 naira. It was 10 naira. So, the moment they did that, that gave access to those of us who could not afford the big tin, right? Once you do that and you give access to people who could not originally afford the product, you create a new market. So then Malam could now create an entire kiosk, and that would be his own business, and he's selling sachet milk, sachet Milo, sugar, small sugar, tie garri inside small nylon, tie water inside nylon, granules. Yes. That's the ancestor of pure water in case you don't know.
They even used cake.
Yes.
They will pour for you.
Yes.
Drink. But they now brought white nylon.
Ice water.
Yes. That's the ancestor. That's pure water ancestor. You right? So those are examples of market creating innovations. So it just says that the primary principle behind market creating innovation is look at a product, for example, and say, how do I give access to people who normally would not be able to access this product for many reasons, whether it's a social economic issue, or is that they cannot afford it, or it's too advanced for them, right? Like for example, many years ago it was difficult for you to learn coding. When I learned computer coding, you have to start from scratch, you have to figure everything out yourself. Now, they simplified it such that there are apps now that teach you coding like they're teaching you ABC. Right? Once you do that, that creates a new market. So now we have more programmers and developers out there that know more people know how to build apps. Now, there are now people that have now even build apps that build app for you without coding.
Yes. There are apps now that can do that.
You understand? Those are market creating innovations. So in some cases they are not 0 to 1, they are more of 1 to n. Do you get? But they are more focused on giving access to people who normally do not have access to a certain kind of product or service. Do you get? I hope you guys understand this. Any other question? Alright. So there's something else that I wanted to share with you. But let me quickly check my notes. So who can tell me I'm going to ask him around the room, what's the biggest challenge you've faced in business? I want to hear. I'm listening. The biggest challenge you faced in business?
Does it have to be one or it can be more than one?
Tell me multiple.
It's mostly about customers.
Yes.
Customers.
For me, I think, okay.
Because sometimes you could go maybe a week without having someone patronize you. So I think that's a really big challenge.
biggest challenge is customers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I also control?
People have not worked on before.
Are we part of? We are not part of the class, so
we can join in a sense. I'm not playing.
Yes.
Okay, so my biggest challenge has been that my customer base grew very fast and I didn't have suppliers. Like I didn't have enough suppliers.
That's actually a good problem to have.
Seriously.
Yeah, but that challenge can quickly cripple you.
Yes. It was mentioned one
Yeah.
class. I don't know.
He mentioned it that his phone call is he had a
Yeah.
phone company.
Yeah.
But you don't plan.
That's a good challenge to have, right? But it's also one of the challenges that can cripple your business more than not having customers.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Word of mouth will just.
Let me explain.
Do not trust.
So, there's something about customer expectation. This is how the graph for customer expectation works. Let me see if we have an marker here. So, when customers meet you, right? Typically, most times the expectation level is like this, is here. You can either bring it here, or you can take it here. Most times, people drop it a little to this place. Most times. Very few businesses actually bring customer expectation here. My goal every time I do business is to bring my customer expectation here. So this is what I do. I under-promise, I promise them this. Even though I know I can easily deliver this. So I promise them this, right? Then I deliver this. MB can give you a practical example. So we just did a boot camp, we organized a boot camp for one of the subdivisions of the UN in Lagos. When we're having the negotiation, a lot of the things we planned to do, we didn't tell them. We didn't build expectation. We just give them the basic things that they needed to know for us to get the contract. But there were also certain things that we did, like when we were sending our proposal, we just didn't send a black proposal in Microsoft Office. We designed it, made it look nice, and all of that. We're very detailed with our curriculum, a number of things that you can do just for us to get the contract. But when it was time to execute, I kept pushing the team here. Even though what we had promised was probably somewhere here. But we knew we could deliver this easily. Even with our curriculum, we had already gotten them here with the kind of proposal we sent in. So by the time we were now executing and we were here, they were just like, wow. They're like, and we need to go back to our office and go and tell them about you people. You know, we need to do, in fact, the roll-up banner that we made, their office in Maiduguri, the lady was like, she has to take her roll-up banner to the office in Maiduguri and put it in her office and say, if I want to do business, want to do projects, it's these people we should work with. Do you understand? Now, here's the thing. What happens every time you promise customers? Because what we do in business is simple. Business is very simple. Is you promise and you deliver on your promise. You know, right? Yeah. And what happens to you when somebody breaks a promise they made to you?
Trust.
You don't trust. So you don't come back.
Do you understand? Imagine you had a boyfriend. And your boyfriend is constantly promising you something. Maybe he promises you dinner. Tomorrow we'll go out. I'll spoil you. As in, I will spoil you like this. Then the tomorrow now comes and he doesn't spoil you. In fact, it destroys you.
Spoils you literally.
Right? So, now, that is what happens if you say, and most times the mistake most people make is they just want to get the contract. They want to get, so they will not go and promise here. They know they can't deliver, but they shall want the customer. They will say, this like I've been to say market. You say, I just wear this necklace, like you just carry and go like that. No come on.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Or they will say, or you see those ones that sell belts. They will not go like that. They will put it in their mouth. The thing no go cut. Or they will do like this. You know go cut.
Actually, I had a funny experience at
You know since the ones that sell plastic, you carry the plastic like this. Boom! One day, boom, you get plastic just pieces. I just kept walking like nothing happened. I mean, you guys have experienced that before, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, what they are doing is they are promising you something. That's what a lot of people don't understand. That in business, the primary thing you do for your customers most times is that you are promising something. And most times, once you fail to deliver on that promise, you break trust. And when trust is broken, trust is one of the most difficult things to earn back. Do we know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yes.
She said yes, she knows. Someone has broken your heart before. So, is recording, right? So, this is the mistake most people make. Let's come back here. So most times I'm changing the color now. So it's better for you to promise your customers this. However, that promise must be enough for you to get them to patronize you. Do you understand? Don't overpromise. You need to know what is enough for you to get your customer to patronize you. It might not be one thing that you need to add to the things you're promising them for them to patronize you. Once you promise that, when it's time for delivery, you must always take it here. Imagine that your boyfriend promises you, I will take you out tomorrow, we'll go for dinner, I'll spoil you. Then, an hour to the distance, he said, you know what, actually, it's not dinner we're going to Dubai for 1 week.
Hey, God.
Thank God, man.
Hey, God.
How does that make you feel?
You will go ahead and take it.
How would that make you feel? You'll be excited, huh? Good. Now, that is what you must do for your customers every single time. If you're going to do that for your customer, those are some of the ways that you get them to become your fan. That the day you even don't deliver their product on that, they'll be saying, no, she's not like that. Something probably happened. Do you guys understand? That's where you want to get to. So, now, the challenge you will have if you go and market beyond what you can handle is that you promise your customers this. Or maybe let's even say you don't go this and you promise them this, right? But then once you are not able to deliver on that promise, it comes this way. Every time trust is broken, you don't go back to where you start from. Do you know? If your boyfriend broke your heart, let's say he cheated on you, have you? And you find out. You know that if the trust you had for him before was here, and when you met him, and he grew here, you know that when that happens, it comes here to the negative. That's exactly what happens in business. It's heartbreak. It's relationship issue. It's breakfast. You're just going to serve your customers breakfast. Hot breakfast. So that happened to me in my smartphone business. So the business was doing very well. We had sold about 4,000 devices. You know, I was in the news. I was popular. They were calling me for interview. Blah blah blah. Like, okay, now let's expand now. We now went and planned product. We designed a product. We did a product launch, and we now had an investor who we had already started engaging that will help us expand. But some issues happened. The deal couldn't go through. The deal didn't finish the deal from the investor. Now, we had already done a massive product launch. About almost 5 or 6 TV houses were there, AIT, Jaja, all of them. Everything was there. We had orders. We could not fulfill all the orders.
And you think, I think the bad thing about breaking customer heart is you don't only lose them. One bad customer will spread.
Exactly.
Like all their friends say, no, don't go. So you are losing like 10 people, even 10 or 100, like tons of people, they will take your name down.
So you want to avoid disappointing your customers at all costs. And every time the customer tells you they are disappointed, it's like your boyfriend just comes and tells you, I'm not happy with you. What will you do? It's not to go and beg. You cheated on the guy already. The guys now come to you. Because that's actually what happens. Right? You just, okay, so what can I do now to make a restaurant? Do you want extra food? So you just need to understand these dynamics. It's even though it can also be the best thing that can happen for your business, if you're able to handle the growth. So let me put it this way. Now, every time you break customers' trust and you are trying to win it back, you have to plan to go from here, if you were here with them before, to come here. No, it's not. But it's actually easy. Do you know why? Customers are the easiest people to please. Most people don't understand that. Do you know why? The reason why they are the easiest people to please is because they are selfish. And selfish people, they are the easiest set of people to please. Selfish people. Have you been a selfish person? Have you lived in hostel before? On campus? Those people that are selfish, that think only about themselves. They are the easiest to please. Oh. You just need to put them, make them feel like they are the center of everything. That they are the ones getting the best. Like to please this kind of customer now. Let's say something happened. Just say, you know what? There's something that we have this product, maybe the product is like 20K. You say, this product, normally we sell this product 20K. But for you, I'll give you 10K. And you can even buy 2 sales. You know that on that 10K, you probably might not make profit. Right? But don't run at a loss. If you have to run at a loss, depending on the customer, it's okay. But if you can avoid running at a loss, avoid it. But make him feel like, in fact, I'll give you 2 sales at that price. Because they are selfish, they are just thinking about themselves. Or you can even do, it's something that you can do for them for free. Do something for them for free.
An extra.
Give them something extra. Free service. Or if there was one of my customers that was angry one time, I booked a spa for his wife. Not even for me. Do you get? There was an issue with the product, I booked a spa for his wife. The next time they had another contract, they gave me the contract. Do you guys understand?
Direct attack.
So, customers are actually the easiest people to please because every customer is selfish. When the customer is coming to you, the customer is not thinking about you. He's thinking about himself. So the moment you understand that, just attack them from that angle. Do you guys get it? Yeah. If your customer says, so I'll give another example. So there's a project that we're just starting now. When we're about to start that project, we've been working on that project for 9 months. They had issues, getting the contract done, raising the money from their headquarters. It's also a UN project. So, and so because of that, they were afraid to commit because they were having issues with how do they sort out getting money from headquarters, because of the procedure. So what I now told them is, you know what we'll do? You guys don't worry about the money yet. We will start doing the program for you. Whenever you figure out the money situation, let us know. So you're like, you can do that. Because what I understood with them is that they had to do this thing and finish it by December. Right? That's 1. 2 is, so that means that we're supposed to start in June. We're in what now?
September.
We're in September now. So we actually started in August, at the end of August. So by the time June went, July went, nothing was happening. I just called them. Please just for my wife. So by the time June went, July went, nothing. So I just called them and I'm like, you know what? You understand the situation you guys are in. Because they want to do the project, but they have an internal issue. And time was going. We were like, in order to save this situation and ensure that we still get this thing done by December, we will use our own money and go and start. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, don't worry, we use our money and start. So went ahead, gathered my team, pulled in some of the funds that I had in different places. We started the program. They were so happy. Come and see them posting on LinkedIn. We just launched this program, something. Customers is there. They are selfish. You need to see, if you understand how selfish your customers are, you will win them hands down anytime. So we just said, we started simple. Was after immediately we started the program like this and they started posting it. I think their headquarters to now saw this thing is really looking good. Sharp. What day was that I went to the office? Yesterday we went to the office to sign the contract. Something that we've been working on. Do you understand? So you need to understand how the mind of your customers work. Then the third thing that I would also say is the process of ensuring that you don't lose your customers is much easier than the process of gaining them back after you lost them. Do you understand? It's easier if you are pushing something up the hill to ensure that it keeps going up the hill and doesn't come down. Now for you to have gone up the hill and you're trying to pull you back up the hill. Do you guys get it? So you want to ensure that your customers never get to this point. In fact, they never cross this particular one. And the only way you can do that, when we get to design thinking, I'll teach you some things. One of the first principles of design thinking is empathy. Empathy is the process where you put yourself in your customer's shoes. When you start thinking, how is this customer thinking? What's going through his mind? What exactly does he want? If you're into beauty business, when your customers come to you, it's not really wig they want. They want to feel good, they want to look good. You know, right? It's not the wig they want. The wig is just a means to an end. But most times, what we sell is the wig, and not what the wig does for them. Do you guys get it? So, if you understand that, you now understand that your customer, when he's standing in front of you, he's just thinking about himself. Have you seen customer that they will come, they'll be doing like they are doing you a favor? At the end. Not really. They are not really doing you a favor. They want something that you have. Any customer that stands in front of you, the mere fact that the person stands in front of you means that the person wants something that you have. They may be arrogant about it, yes. But deep down they want that thing.
So people actually used to get products to support the business, not like they really want it.
So
Yes.
that's what I want to teach you guys now. So we're going to the session we'll have today, which wasn't what I planned to have today for, is what's the name? We need to be very fast with this one. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about something called product market fit. Who has heard that before? Oh. Okay. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about something called product market fit. Then we'll do like a mindset tomorrow. How many of you are going to work product market How many of you have heard of value proposition before? You've not heard of value proposition. How many of you have heard of business model before? Business model. Okay. So I'll teach you product market fit today. And at some point we'll talk about business model canvas after design thinking. Right? So let's talk about product market fit. And this is the reason why it's important.
Do you need me to sit there? I cannot do it.
No, it's the network. Because I'm loading it from the internet.
Thanks for being my boss. Even if I like to thanks a lot.
Okay, good. So, how many of you have used this phrase before? Be honest.
Okay, that's fine.
Hmm? You've used that phrase before, right? Eh? Then you now do your face like this. Bros, help me now. And then if they don't patronize, maybe it's your uncles, and you'll not be angry with them. That they're not even supporting me. Eh? Is this what they should do? That like, should they not even support me? That I'm not going to steal? At least I'm trying to do something. Right? You see, the reason why product market fit is very important is because if you don't solve it, you will keep hustling. Eh? The reason why a lot of entrepreneurs, and I tell you, a lot of people that call themselves entrepreneurs are actually hustlers. The moment you have to convince me to buy your product just because I know you, I feel like your head is inside my head.
I checked this now.
The reason why most entrepreneurs are hustlers, and the reason why you keep hustling and having to beg people to patronize you is because you haven't found product market fit. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, this will be our outline. What's product market, why is it important, how, and then we'll do a very brief wrap up. So, what really is product market fit? We call it PMF. Right? It's simple. It's when the product and the market fit. Abi, there's products, there's markets, they fit.
You have what they want.
Eh?
I think you have what they want.
Exactly. So that means the product you have and the people you are trying to sell it to, or the market the product is going to, must fit. Most times, this is what we are trying to do. Every time you have to say support my hustle, every time you use that statement, this is what you are trying to do. You are trying to force a square hole, a square peg into a round hole. So good. You understand? Sometimes you even break the hammer self. Or you will scatter the hole. Sometimes you even scatter the relationship. Right? So, remember, did I ever mention push and pull force of the market to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, there are two forces in every market. And this is where product market fit happens. In every market, there's a pull force and there's a push force. How many of you have heard of supply and demand?
Yeah.
Good. Supply and demand is just a very complex way of explaining what I'm about to explain to you. Is that it confuses us in economics class? Right? So, and this is it, right? These two market forces, I'm trying to rush through this, but I think this is important because I'll talk more about this in our virtual class next week. The push and pull forces of the market do two things. The first thing is they create demand for the product. Second is they help you know the value of the product in the market. Do you understand? So let me explain. Most times what most people do is we are pushing our product into the market. And in most cases, this is what most people do. This is an example of push force. You can see you are pushing this. Have you seen? So what that means is you have a new product, you want people to know about it, you want people to buy it. You're saying, come and buy this product, this is what this product does, come and buy it, patronize also. Patronize me now. I now sell beans and they were going and bread. Come and buy it. Even though the man doesn't eat shawarma and salad in his house. We shall want him to buy your beans and they were going by first shall. You not buy it and go and give his driver. Abi? Now, that is example of a push force of the market, where you are constantly pushing your product or your service into the market, right? Now, the pull force, and that is where you want to be. It's where the market is the one pulling you. Have you ever seen a magnet, two magnets magnetizing themselves before? You've seen it before? Have you seen that most times, if they are unlike poles, they go boom. If you just bring them like this, they'll come together. But if they're like poles, no matter how much you try to push them together, they'll repel. The pull force is like magnetic, like an unlike, it's like magnetic unlike poles. The pull force. Once you are at a point where you are operating in the full pull force of the market, it's attraction. It's just like a magnet. The market will be the one attracting you like this, and you will also be attracting. You guys, your customers will be pulling you. You will be attracting them. Do you guys understand? I'll give a practical example. When Uber came into Nigeria, you know that for the first few months they didn't advertise when they were trying to get drivers. They didn't really advertise. It was in the process of them trying to get drivers, they were trying to recruit on that G first before they started. They wanted to get a few drivers on. The news went out that Uber was in Nigeria. And people already started downloading the Uber. That's pull force. I'll use another example. Piggyvest. When Piggyvest started, people were downloading Piggyvest and telling their family friends to download it. Right? So you want to get to the point where the market is the one pulling you and you're not the one forcing yourself on the market. That is the point where you find product market fit. Alright? So, and when the market is pulling you, you have a lot of control. The reason why it seems like you don't have a lot of control over your pricing, over a lot of things, is because you are operating push force. Also, once you're operating the pull force of the market, there was what I wanted to use, don't be ground like that, not play with it. Oh, I wanted to use one big ground. Okay, when I remember it, I'll see this, that big ground, I'll use it to me. So, but when you're operating the pull force, another thing that happens is you do not then have to fight the price war. You know, one of the things that can easily cripple any business is when you are fighting the price war. You know what the price war is?
Yeah.
You try to reduce your price as much as possible to attract more customers. That signifies two things. The first is that you're operating the push force. The second is that you don't have enough value to offer your customers. the price war is what would easily cripple your business, especially when you have bigger competitors than you. So, at every time, always try to operate the pull force. And one of the ways you operate the pull force is that you must consistently improve on your value offering to your customers. That was why I asked you who has heard of value proposition before. Value proposition simply talks about what value are you proposing to your customers. Now let's come back to this graph that we started with. Right? So, let's look at this graph again. Remember that I said in business you're constantly making promises to your customers. And that promise is actually called your value proposition. So, every time you start a business, you offer some level of value to your customer. Let's say this value proposition 1. Abi? Sometimes when you now deliver, most people deliver here. Let's call it value delivery 1. Abi? What you should actually do is if this is your value proposition 1, your value delivery 1 should be here. Even though you propose this. Then, the next time the customer comes, now, this is where most business people make mistake. Most businesses have a plan. Well, not most businesses, but some businesses have a plan to deliver the value for their customers at this place at the initial stage. But they don't have a plan to sustain this kind of value delivery. Right? They say first impression matters. But sometimes you have to go beyond the first impression. So the question then becomes, how do you constantly create a model where your value proposition and your value delivery begins to improve for your customer? So what that means is, the next time your customer should come back, this will now be value proposition 2. Because the customer has already experienced this as value delivery 1. So the next time they'll be expecting this. Do you understand? You now have to take them to what? Value delivery 2. Do you guys understand? So what this now means is the next time, this now becomes what? Value proposition what?
3. Because that was going high.
That's why we have iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 13, iPhone 14, even though right now I don't even know what it is. But how you guys are following me? This is how you cause market pull force to work for you. That way your customers are the ones that will be, they'll really rush you. Then again they rush us. Right. So now, okay, I didn't mention to you. So, product market fit is one of the principles that we teach tech startups, especially when they're going through an incubation and acceleration program, right? But there was a reason why I brought that to this class, which is in the journey of entrepreneurship, it begins to wrap up. Your entrepreneurship journey becomes more interesting when you get to product market fit. Now you can see all the things that happens, right? Before you get there. So even though I've made it look interesting to you guys now, it doesn't mean that it's something that happens overnight. It's a process. You're trying to find a fit. It's like you're trying shoes in the market. You want to buy a new shoe. When you try one shoe, it might not work. You try the second one, it might not work. You try it, then the one you actually see that was your size, you won't fit the dress you want to wear it with. You now be thinking, should I change the dress? Or guys do not understand this because all our shoes goes with everything. Right? So this, before you get to this point, there's a lot of experimenting that needs to happen. Sometimes some customers will get angry, you have to bring them back. Yeah, I taught you guys earlier. You know, it's a process. But the biggest thing you must have at the back of your mind, you want to get to that point where the market is constantly pulling you. You're not pushing yourself to the market. Now, have you guys heard of these people people, Abuja declutter.
Yeah.
Those guys find product market fit easily. They found it easily. Do you understand? Now, when it was declutter, what was the first one?
There's declutter in Abuja, there's Abuja declutter.
No, there was one, the first one that started, I think it was declutter zone was the first
Declutter in
one.
Abuja.
Or declutter in Abuja. Yeah. So when she started, she found product market fit easy because people had a lot of things in their houses they wanted to get rid of. You know the funny thing? When I was working there, we had that idea one time. We even had a warehouse that we were going to use. Or we implemented. Do you understand? So there are certain things that our product market fit happens when you're actually solving a real problem for real customers and they're willing to pay real money for it, for that solution. What did I say? Real problem, not problem that you manufacture in your house. For real customers that are willing to pay real money for it, not audio money. I hope you guys understand that. Once you do that, you find product market fit. Now, wow. Okay. So, product market fit is not actually a function of how much money you have, how much money you are making in business. There are not people that are making plenty money in business, but they don't find product market fit. Do you know why? This is how you know. If you stop pushing the business, because push force also works. So, you know that every force is a force. Force will always work. If I punch you good, it's a force, you feel it. Don't you feel it? It's a force. If I push this table, it's a force. The table will move from here to there. Right? If I pull the table, it's a force. So force would have some level of impact, but the amount of energy you have to impute, to exert, to make it have the kind of impact you need it to have is what varies. Eh? That is variability. Variability, that's a big English. That's the variability of different forces, right? So, there's this thing called Justin.tv. They had, in their first year, was it their first year or second? I don't remember. They had $80 million in revenue. They had no $100 million profits and 30 million monthly viewers, but they did not have product market fit. Is that believable?
So how did they make the profits?
So that's what I'm explaining. So let me explain this way. For them to do this, there was a lot of manual work they were doing at the back. That the day that manual work stopped for a few hours, they lose revenue. Do you understand? Or the day, if you are running a business that you constantly have to convince customers, oh yeah, now you should come and buy now. We have new bags, we have sales, come and buy. Oh yeah. Such that the day you don't go and coerce them or tell them you have sales or beg them, they don't patronize you, you haven't found product market. You can be making $200 million. You haven't. Do you know how you know? The day you slow down on that your method and the business is not able to continue and scale, then there's a problem. God forbid something happens to you. You might even end up in debt. Do you guys get it? So it's not always about the amount of money that you are making. Look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has been the world's longest living brand. And for many years, they were the world's most valuable company until Apple took over. Do you guys understand? Until today, they are still, do you understand? They are not the most valuable company, but they are still one of the most valuable companies in the world. Do you know why? They found product market fit from the beginning. Once you find product market fit, it's difficult for your business to die. I use an example of Piggyverse for you guys, right? Yeah. And how Piggyverse spun off Abeg as a subsidiary, and Abeg was able to fund Big Brother for $2 billion for one season of Big Brother. Yeah. I don't have $2 billion. Alright, so why is product market fit important? Okay, we're wrapping up now. It's the only way to ensure lasting success. I think I already mentioned that. That's the main reason why it's important. You want to build your business up to the point that you don't have to be sweating to do business. When you are sweating like this, you have to be shouting. It's a problem. The next thing is, how do you get product market fit? Is to create something that is useful, not for somebody. Sometimes we ask somebody, how did you start this business? It was one day I needed a new shoe to wear, and I did not have a new shoe. So now thought, if I can just create a shoe with beads, and I have beads in my house, and then my old shoe I just convert it. I was thinking, there might also be many people that have this issue, something. How many people will just wake up and say, okay, I don't have shoe to wear now, maybe I should wear a bead shoe. It's not like that some people will not work. How many? Right? You need to create something that's not just useful for somebody, but for a lot of people. Most times, businesses are not able to scale because they are not solving a problem that is big enough. They are not solving a problem for a lot of people. Say a word.
So I said everything I said, I'm just putting my business and ticking some boxes. Exactly.
Say a word. That's how you don't choke girls. Right? Build something that is useful for a lot of people. My mentor told me something. So I was going to start a business in the US. My mentor in the US. So at first when I told him, I was like, okay, that's a nice idea. Then 2 days later, I called him and said I should come to his house. I'm like, why? He said, you know that business you want to start, don't start it. I said, why now? Because I already planned, someone was already willing to fund the business, blah, blah, blah. And plans are gone. My brother, I already told my brother, once I get back to US, you're going to come, because my brother is in Canada. Was supposed to come back to meet me in the US, so you help me with the setup, and things, plan everything. The man now said, don't do the business. I'm like, why? That's I'm not saying you should not do it. No, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, Sha. But I'm trying to tell you that the effort you're going to put in this business, how much did the business make you? That other business that you told me last year, go and do that one. That will make you more money. And you have to put less effort than this one. And I thought about like, it's true. Sometimes when people tell you something, you don't feel like being upset before. Has that happened to you before? So I was like, what was I thinking? Child. Sometimes that's why it's good to have mentors. So he was not trying to give me some statistics of how we think that business will make a lot of money, more than this other one that I wanted to start. I was like, and it's true. Child. So, and then another one of my mentors taught me something. He said, it takes the same amount of effort to make $10,000, to make $1 million, and to make $50 million, and to make $100 million. People don't believe it. Let me explain. I will explain it now. Don't worry. See, I'm not saying you do the same thing. I said it takes the same amount of effort. Let me put it this way. There are some guys in Dubai that all they do is they sell luxury cars. They only sell Lamborghini, Ferrari, Rolls Royce. That's all they do. That's all, the only thing they do. Now, these guys don't put advert on TV. They go straight to the richest people, right? To where they find them, golf clubs, yacht clubs, yachts, right? All those big boats. That's where they go to. They just go there, they meet with these billionaires and they show them, okay, I have this catalog, this is new arrival and something like that. They sell some of those cars. Some of those cars are $2 million, $1.5 million. On each car, they make like $300,000, $400,000. How much work did they do?
They might have done a lot of work by
Marketing, wanting, sweating.
No, I would
Do you guys see this? One of the concepts. That guy, for example, some of them can close in a month, can close $3 million in a month. For every clothing, you also need to sell 10 cars. I know the funny thing is, those millionaires already have the money, they're thinking of what to do with it.
But you might need them packaging themselves,
Yes.
positioning themselves in that way.
So for most of those guys, what they do is they pay for membership of the golf club and you go and start playing golf with them. Yep.
And it's a club. They are actually the same club. But they are using their money to make themselves in that class.
So do you guys see now? The effort is most times not so far apart. My mentor was telling me how he became a millionaire. Right? And okay, I'll tell you another one of the mentors. We just built one software and he sold it to one school. And that one software that he sold to one school made him a billionaire. Do you guys get it now? The same amount of it.
I think the same is also applicable to real estate.
The same amount of effort it takes you to sell this house. Same amount of it takes you to sell the one in Banana Island. And your commission is the difference is much. But you know the difference? Mindset. That is the only difference. The problem you have is that your mind cannot carry to go and start thinking of how to make $200 million. You just want to make $1 million.
And be comfortable.
Even that 1 million, you have to do like this.
And I was to see the 1 million first.
You see?
So,
mindset.
my mentor used to do something. So when I get to the US some years back, we just say, oh yeah, so I can land land from the airport after almost 20-something hours flying. Now get from the airport, just say, okay, I'm going to pick you in the next 1 hour fresh up. I'm like, I'm just getting here now, let me rest small. The next thing, so yeah, meet me at the car park. In the next 1 hour, I'll meet my car park, put me inside, I'm now driving me. See, that's Dan Bute's house. That's this person's house. Now be telling me how much the person built here because he lives there too. He has like 3 houses around that area where Dan Bute's house is. So, I mean, he's a very rich man as well. So, when he does all of that, do you know I'm telling you all these things? So that your mind can open. Because there are certain things he wants me to do, but he can't even tell me until he has realized that my mind has opened. Before, I'll just run away. There are some things that they tell you, this was an You don't know.
It's true. Like for example, last year, that thing you saying, why I'm laughing. Last year, now for example, okay, I had my business, fashion. I used to have plenty as in, I don't used to post on IG, I don't post, but once I make all your family members, you want to bring everybody because you want.
The question.
But my problem is pricing. I mean, because now I know my work is good. Like people from all over different countries will come. But it maybe because it's me, you know. Maybe I learned my skills myself and.
You know
So,
how to price it.
so I will know maybe the fear. My friend is like, this is not the money that are you okay? Like the what of like people will pay me. Do you even call 100K for dress?
You go to
And the second outfit they will wear for their wedding maybe 700K.
But you won't now be 25K.
No, so you see that. So now this year, let us get for So now this year, my friend is together. So last year, my friend, when they came, I'm like, no,
My wife has the same problem.
All of these I have this problem.
no, but I've changed. Now let me explain my problem. I've changed. I've changed this year, but the problem it was only yesterday. No, this week I was not saying that. What is my problem? But I've changed this year, so my price is now like times 5. I can't even. I can call 700K. Like I can call 100K. But the problem now is when they pay. Let's say a customer pays 100K to sew clothes. It's big. Me, I cannot afford. I can't even afford myself because I can't pay. I can't pay 50K to sew normal native or 100K. But they are paying. But my problem now, maybe because my mind is still. I will go to the market. We've agreed price, or we've agreed. Or maybe because I'm feeling, this person paid 100K. You know, I'll go and buy bells.
Best.
I'll go and buy this. This one, yes. I'll now give. And I will speak, no, I'm supposed to deliver, even though I want to deliver good, but I will buy, the person not pay for for applique. I'll be like, ah,
That
this
person.
applique is, you know, I will add, it's good, but I'm chopping my
yeah, no, what
profit.
you are doing is good. You know, you need to just learn how to manage it. Right?
Because
Before you came, I was teaching them customer
I was here.
expectation. Okay, so what you are doing is good. You just need to learn how to manage it.
Actually, it's not
Now,
mindset
you
that
still
is
need
doing me.
to, you still need to expand your mind.
Because
Right? But that does not mean you should drop on the value. If
no, my value is
any
always,
opportunity you will have to add more value for your customers, always do it.
no, they always bring, but I'm thinking maybe
You need
it's,
to wrap up.
this is my mindset.
We
Maybe
need
it's
to wrap up. This is the thing with this class. Anytime I come to this class, you will use to have student questions. Alright.
Because for me,
Show it to see that show me
most
the
times,
normal
like,
price they were
describe
selling prawns.
when by the time I finish
Now I
buying
cannot
those
even
products,
get personal
big
customers
products,
to
like
even
I
sell
have
to
barely
like
profit left.
Yeah.
So and most people are like,
Then
this
you are not
people
running
sell it
business,
for
you are
like
doing charity.
200, like all these plastic
Mhm.
ones. But the thing is, for me, I believe in selling something quality. So, but there are this set of people that they just
Yes,
want
it's
to
wrong
be very
people.
they are not my customer.
You're saying to the wrong people.
So because
So,
why I'm asking, I've heard a lot
So
of
let me
people say,
now ask you. Let me ask you a different question now. You see, bottle of water in Cross Cafe they sell it 150 naira. In the airports in Abuja they sell it like 400
Not
naira.
even airport, Harem Dream.
Yes,
Harem Dream.
Hilton, right?
Yes. It's like 300 or something.
Okay. You see,
not
on the flight from Qatar to America is about whether it's like $7. How much is $1 now?
That's 400.
They sell one that's like
Yes.
That's
863.
No, they'll give
Bottle
you
for one
they want to
bottle.
buy a bottle. One extra.
One bottle. Carry your water.
Thank you.
When you don't carry
Wait,
your
now
water.
that one is even better. That one is better. There's a club in Buckhead. In fact, in America generally, a bottle of water is more expensive than a bottle of Coke. You get a bottle of Coke for $1 something, sometimes even 99 cents. A bottle of water, most times, most bottles of water are like $2. $1 something, almost $2. Do you understand? It's the same bottle of water, but the places where it is determines the value. So your product it's not like it doesn't have value, it's just in the wrong place. Or you're selling to the wrong people. You see that guy that was selling the Ferrari now? Let him come to State Market and stay there from now to next tomorrow. Yes, now that I saw one guy put yacht on Facebook Market, I'm like, do you guys understand? So sometimes it's placing the product in the wrong place.
sorry, sir. The
So,
question
Margaret.
I was actually about to ask was, is it a good idea to sell maybe those fake ones, so to say, to people that want it?
So let me explain. You remember what I talked about access? If that's I asked you guys, have you guys heard about business model before? Your business model can be, I want to make fine accessories accessible to poor people who cannot afford it. And that's your business model. So in that business model, you're not thinking